Good afternoon. I'm Rod Kurtz along with Stacy Brotzel and Ken Dawson. You're listening to Radioactive on CBC Radio 1 in Edmonton. This hour, a made-in-Edmonton solution to help treat wounds at home and hopefully keep patients out of hospital. We'll speak with the inventor, who is also a U of A undergrad student. Thanks, Stacy. My next guest is building a better way to monitor how wounds heal. It has the potential to identify infections before they become a serious medical issue. Connor Pavolito is a third-year student in biomedical engineering at the University of Alberta. He's also the founder of the startup Wound³, and he joins us here in studio. Connor, welcome to the program.
Hey, thank you for having me.
So what's the problem with the way we track how wounds are healing at home now?
Yeah, so kind of the way you phrase the question, it almost implies that wounds are tracked at home, and in essence,
they're not.
Yeah, a lot of the time they're not at all. You kind of experience round-the-clock care. And a lot of attention to wound care, while you might be at a clinic or at a hospital, but the second you leave those doors, that information kind of vanishes, and it might only resume if the wound gets bad enough for you to come back.
Right. And I actually experienced this just recently, gashed my finger with a table saw. Didn't lose any limbs or digits, but it did get infected. And that came about a week and a half after the incident, and I got it stitched up. And then all of a sudden, a week and a half or so later, it starts to hurt, so then you got to go back to the doctor. And anyway, long story short, we're fine, but that infection obviously needed antibiotics to treat that. So what's your solution to improve how we deal with wound care at home?
Right. So why don't we use your finger as a case study? We'll just go from there. So suppose you cut your finger on the table saw. Did you need to get like stitches or anything like that?
Yeah, I went to the hospital.
So you went and you got the stitches. When you come home, anytime you swap the Band-Aid or something like that, you just take an image or a video. A video will do. Will basically scan the wound in 3D, and just a picture will scan it in 2D. So if you have like a surface type wound, a picture will suffice.
Yep.
But if something was like your entire finger, you take a video. And basically the program we've written will run analytics on that wound and provide certain feedback to say, okay, is the area of the wound shrinking? Is the volume of the wound shrinking? How does the color of the wound look? Is it more so yellow shifted? So in your case, it would start to notice, okay, it's starting to become more yellow shifted. That might be an issue. And so what you do is you go, okay, well, with this information, I should talk to my doctor. Maybe something's up. So you can take that information collected by the app and send it to the doctor just via PDF, something standardized.
Yep.
And the doctor can review the information with you, even just over the phone, and say, oh yeah, it does look infected. You should perhaps get a certain ointment, a remedy or something like that, and could either prescribe you something or just tell you what to get just over the phone, and you'd save a ton of hassle and catch something before it gets too bad.
So this is an app that you've built.
Yes.
That has the AI built in, so it does that scanning and determining what next steps might be.
That's exactly right.
Wow. What are the benefits to the patient with that kind of technology?
So the benefit to the patient would be, well, one would be convenience in the sense that you might be able to avoid going in to a hospital or something like that, and instead kind of employ telemedicine and that kind of thing. The next benefit to the patient would be preventative care, just because, again, you might be able to catch something like an infection before it gets so bad and so unbearable that you have to book an appointment.
Yeah.
So that would be a benefit. Another thing, and this benefit would kind of vary between patient to patient, and that would be kind of access to information in certain ways. So suppose you're a patient who maybe gets an injury doing something agricultural related. That's usually very remote.
Yeah.
And let's even bring this to the extreme and say, you're super remote and there's not even a doctor in town that might be able to diagnose something. Maybe you got a very specific kind of infection. Having standardized analytics and having a way to collect like personal medical data in a very streamlined way is a way to bridge that kind of information disparity. So you can take that information and give it to a doctor that might be, thousands of kilometers away, who can say, oh, I actually knew exactly how to identify this.
Yeah.
So you might be able to receive information that would be impossible to in the first place, just because, data is really great for that.
Yeah, amazing. Okay, you recently won a pitch competition. Can you tell me more about what happened? You went to the Symposium on Advanced Wound Care in Phoenix.
Oh, yeah, that's correct. Myself, as well as some co-developers, like Jacob DeMant, I should reference him. He's a really brilliant biomedical engineer. He and I, as well as our professor, Dr. Burrell, and one of our friends, Daniel Brick, we all went to Phoenix to pitch the idea at the SAWC Wound Conference hosted by the Wound Care Society. And we pitched it. We went against 22 other research-related projects. There were some pretty stiff competition, but yeah, we ended up winning it, which was really nice.
Yeah, and I don't think it was a monetary prize of any kind, but what does this do for the profile of the company?
Yeah, it definitely won us some notoriety and respect in the space, which is nice and has certainly helped with grant applications and things.
Yeah. So where are you in terms of, how far away maybe from doing a clinical trial of some kind?
8 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you've got it all laid out.
Yeah. So right now we're in the process of kind of perfecting the technology. We have working models, but we'd like it to be much more reliable, so you can, because sometimes there's certain outliers, as much as people think AI tends to be like this, sentient thing.
Yeah.
In reality, it's about as smart as an infant. It does dumb things, and so you have to be very careful in the way you train it.
Yeah.
So we're just perfecting the way the artificial intelligence basically finds the boundaries of the wounds. Right. That's a very important step, and so once we pass that, then we're going to look into clinical.
Any specific areas where this could be, maybe a certain kind of infection, or is this broad? Could it deal with anything, or is it more specific?
It could fathomably deal with anything you could see on the surface of your skin. I mean, anything that goes kind of beneath that would be much more difficult.
Right.
I guess anything limited to what you could see with a phone camera. I guess we can put it that way.
Yeah. So you're only in your third year of university. Did you imagine you'd be so far along and have a startup by now?
Have a startup by now? Well, I guess personally I've always seen engineering as a means to... I went into engineering to kind of be better equipped to do startups more than I did to be an engineer. So I guess the short answer is, I was hoping I'd be in a place like this doing startup stuff. I really like that.
And solving medical problems as well.
Yeah, it's a really, really important stuff. So I take pride looking into it.
So 8 months to clinical trials. Where could we maybe see this actually available, and if everything goes according to plan, when could it possibly be an app that we could find and use?
Honestly, I don't particularly know how long clinical trials take. That would be a Dr. Burrell question. He's our professor. But assuming everything works out well, it'd be on the App Store immediately after it gets proven to work. And I mean, perhaps you can even release a beta model with certain disclaimers. But we want to get it out there as soon as possible, because we really do believe it has the capacity to help people. So
fascinating stuff. Appreciate you coming in to talk about it with us today. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys.
Connor Pavolito, third-year student in biomedical engineering at the University of Alberta, and the co-founder of the startup company Wound3.